Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Elevate Your Business. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome a true global visionary in technology, Rignesh Soni. With over 20 years of leadership across smart cities, infrastructure, IoT, and cloud innovation landscapes, Rignesh has been a driving force in transforming urban mobility and smart technology solutions worldwide. As the Executive Vice President of Innovation and Strategic Systems, President of the American Association of Information Technology Professionals, an acclaimed thought leader recognized by the Forbes Technology Council, his work has reshaped how cities and enterprises navigate the digital future. Rignesh's passion for servant leadership, AI innovation, and empowering businesses through advanced technology makes him a remarkable guest with insights you won't want to miss. Rignesh, it is wonderful to see you again. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Ed, for having me on your show. It's always indeed a pleasure to meet and talk to an industry veteran. You have been serving for a pedigree of your time, and it's always a pleasure to come and learn from you, your practices. And I have been following your show. I think you have a couple of great insights for the business leaders to come in. Unfortunately or fortunately, in a good way, I have always been a technology guy, somehow got more into the business, and now I think helping, bringing in more through the collaborations across the ecosystem. So thank you for having me on your show.
It is my honor and pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. To start with, could you share a little bit more about yourself and your business?
For sure. Thank you so much. I work for a large parking operations company called Premium Parking. They are a very truly innovative global company and team. They are across the United States. They take care of a lot of infrastructure oriented solutions and products. I recently joined them as an executive vice president for innovations as we are getting into the new paradigm of the solutions offering for the parking and infrastructure businesses. Along with that, I also work for a nonprofit called AITP, which is American Association of IT Professionals, where we truly bring in the collaborations, the innovations, bring in a forum and platform for the global technology people. It might be in any domain to work with because now technology is across the domain, across the landscape. And now the cross-domain pollinations has started happening. So we facilitate those through, and it's a young establishment as an organization. And we have started getting some traction for some really good innovators to share their thought leadership process. So that's where I serve as president of the organization, try helping with a really great team to set up this standard. So that's what my pedigree of participations are so far.
Love it. So we talked a little bit previously, and we kind of chuckled a little bit around this next question. How do you define success today?
Well, it's a journey. When I started, it was like all about titles and recognitions. Oh, this title, oh, this profile, oh, this award. That's good recognition. But eventually, as I started working with more leaders, seasoned professionals, I learned that it's above that. I learned that it's not only about working on recognitions and title, but it's all about impact, transformations, and contributions that you want to make. So this success, I believe, is how good you were able to make the impact, where you were able to be part of and help someone or an organization in their transformation journey, and how good you have gone beyond contribution that has facilitated a couple of people's their life and businesses to have an impact overall. So that's what, as of today, success looks like to me.
How has your definition of success evolved over time?
It was all about titles and recognitions and all. Coming from a background where I was the first and only graduate in my entire family. So you have to go and prove a lot to your family that you are making good, you're living a good life. And the only way they would able to see you're making a good life is you have titles associated with it, you are having recognitions coming out of it. But as I started moving forward in that journey, realized that yes, it was a good start that gave me the headway forward. But where I want to go, where I wish the community to prosper, is not about chasing those things. And that's a natural evaluation. It came, and I think it came through a lot of working with a lot of people, a lot of kind-hearted people, a lot of great people, a lot of successful people. They had a grit and resilience in them that gave me the definition of success to be looked in a very different way. So it's all about working with good people. I have evolved. I think I started around 2004 Prior to that, it was like studying and then doing something else. But in 2004, I specifically started as a junior scientist for a space application center back in India. And I started working with someone who was very methodological, and he taught me perseverance. He was so methodological, deep into what he was doing. But it evolved, and then started. I have been blessed enough to be working since last 15 years. I've been always working with managing directors and the CXO profiles. When you work with those kind of people, what they leave behind is a trail of good leadership generation underneath them. And I have grown in those profile working with those kind of people. So success evolved working with successful people, right people coming in with their right mindset, their grooming, and that helped me to go and recheck my definitions, right? What I was doing and how I'm doing. And I'm always grateful to all the leaders and executives I have worked with. They have helped me to evolve and also reconsider my definition of success. And today, I think I'm enjoying better than any, all of my previous years.
What you just shared there, thank you so much for that. It really gets to a couple of really key lessons for people, doesn't it?
Yes.
And we may have talked a little bit about this, but removing toxins out of our life.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you use AI or you don't use AI.
Yeah.
You use books or you don't use books. This is the only thing you will learn, which is not taught in the school, is by being with people, working with people, and getting out, and going and talking and working with them, proving yourself that you deserve to be part of their ecosystem, and then being infected by their growth, their success, their positivity, because that's what brings in great values. You will always have good values because of your upbringing, but the great values will come working with good people, right?
Yes.
There is no alternative to that, and there is never going to be alternative to not working with good people.
I love that. And of course, our journeys are wrought with challenges and lessons learned associated with them. What one or two top challenges you experienced and the lessons learned can you share with our audience?
There are many, and I'm all about the hard lessons that I have learned in my journey so far. But two very big life turning events, those have been in my career trajectory. One, when I got associated with a smart transportation project, which was first of its kind. I was back in India. We had close to about 80, 85 people working under my structure. We were fifth in the chain. This was a smart transportation solution going live in Perth, Australia. But the solution can only be going live by having a team working in India and in UK and in Russia, and then deploying in Australia. Because that's how the ecosystem was working with different experts to have the solution live. And in my journey, that was my first management experience of how to deal with the team, work with the team. We didn't have Gen AI. Google was very helpful, but not knowledgeable as what it is today.
Right.
And the only way to bring those kind of solutions are because even this was the first underground busport of the world that got live in Perth, Australia. And we didn't have good reference materials, good books, good research papers to refer to. So it was trials and errors. And I think 24 months into that exercise, working and traveling across the globe to get it done, I was so happy to see that the solution went live, and every day there were more than 100,000 passengers as of today are using that bus port and that product. And obviously, after I left that, they evolved dramatically and the solution grew. The team over there did a good job. But I was fortunate enough to be part of the crafting team, not the maintenance team. So while it was being crafted, I was part of the design team. And that helped me to evolve as an engineer. Because again, I'm a technologist at heart, would always be a technologist at heart. That's how I have grown. And that ingrained something in me which grew. And the second challenging equation I came into is with my prior startup company called Rocker. It's a parking solution, a smart transport parking solutions. And we had a very unique design in place. The solutions were being discussed. And just as the founder, so I was one of the founding members, but not the founder of the company. I was one of the founding members. And when founder decided to launch the company, guess what? It was May 2020. Just in pandemic, founders launched a parking company when nobody's parking.
Wow.
And resource constraints, everybody has to work remote. You can't be in office. People are not able to work because pandemic is new and they are struggling with their health issues and challenges. We still want to go live with the solutions. And then now, fast forward, that solution took 3 years, got multiple acquisitions. It got acquired by a company, then acquired by another company over there. That was like an humongous challenging situation because you have resource constraint, because you're launching in pandemic, nobody's parking, people don't want to invest in your company, so you're running low on finances. And heads off to the founders of the company because they were holding the reins tight to run the finances. But then we overcame all those challenges by having grit and resilience and perseverance to know this is something different, something good. It's going to make an impact. And yes, it started getting into multi-million dollar, eight-figure revenues for the customers and businesses who were using our solutions and product. We were able to get 30 customers on board. And company made good out of it. There was a little bit of fortune being shared because of the acquisitions and all. Overcoming those challenges were like working with the resources on the tight budgets and the timeline, because now, even though you want to work 16 hours, people are not available to work 16 hours. Even though they wish to work, they have their parents to be taken to the hospital, they have to go out for the vaccination shots. There are a lot of uncertainty. Between 2020 to 2022, it was like a real learning curve for me as a person. Outside of tech, I have grown. Tech, I always knew, that grew me. So these were two life turning events for me that made me who I am as of today.
There's two things that kind of popped into my mind as you were talking. And one of them is that regardless of the fact that you are a consummate technologist, a visionary, you get it, that's your focus, that's your passion. There's still a people and process component to that, right?
Absolutely.
And it always starts with the people.
Indeed, 100%.
And then it's the process, and then it's the technology. But
Absolutely.
for all the technologists out there, for all of our audience members, keep in mind, today it's just as important to know how to collaborate, to know how to work together with other people, organize, inspire, motivate in order to get that job done. And as senior technologists who take on management roles, these are absolute fundamentals. That fair way to express that?
100%. And now you have more technologies than those were there in earlier days.
Yes.
Everybody is a technologist as of today, right? So what makes you different is how do you work with people? What do you facilitate to them? How do you collaborate with them? What all values you can bring on the desk which they can inspire and learn from you? I think those are the values which will differentiate you as a person. And when you are different, people would want to really work with you because you infect them with what they're missing on their side. Because as of today, $20 gives you the freedom with the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Incredible knowledge. I call my sources my CIO, my chief information officer. I can get anything I want pretty much.
Absolutely.
So this leads us to the conversation around innovation. Now, you were all about innovation. Your entire life and career has been wrapped around that. But like we just talked about, innovation is people, process, technology wrapped in the right culture. When you think about innovation, what are the innovation drivers you're leveraging to move your business forward?
So, it evolved during the journey, but it absolutely starts top down, where your leadership brings true values, true mission and vision to your desk about where they see the organization, the company, the business going, evolving, maybe contributing, sustaining, fighting. Where do they see? Innovation gets entangled with those visions because now you have wings to fly as the values are being put together. With premium parking, we have a transparent culture. We have a flat structure, and heads off to President Ben and CEO Jim over there. They've created an organization which flourishes. And when those kind of structures are there, innovation now gets a wing to bring in a lot of new ideas, thought process, collaborations. That ideas are as good as people, right? So your idea is nothing but set of people working together to make a big impact. And then innovation thrives on top of that. So now you have an idea, you have people, then you have culture, you have values being put together. These people will come and bring in the innovation. So A couple of innovative things which I was able to do earlier in my earlier assignments in for almost now 2 decades. Those innovations are looking like novice as we are getting into the new pedigree of innovations coming in because of the Gen AI era and how people are innovating. I think premium parking has done a great job as a company on the parking platform. On the contrary way, my AITP as a organization, if I see for the nonprofit, they are helping in creating standards. These standards are evolving. Why? Originally, it used to be okay, I'm a finance guy, I'm a fintech guy, I am a healthcare guy. Those were the original definitions. Now, every domain is impacted with the technology, so the cross pollination has started happening. A finance guy is also a health tech guy, and they are working together to solve problems. So there needs to be a new organization forum who wants to lead this charge and provide the innovation. So what we started doing with AITP is facilitating this innovative platform for them to come and provide their research papers. Those are not standards as de facto what other organizations are doing, but we help them saying that if you have a vision, like one of our vice president, she is a healthcare expert. One of our vice president, he is a tech expert, but an AI champion is helping on to people who are trying to come up with the ideas from a healthcare domain. It's like wow, this is something what we were missing, or this is what there is an evaluation required. So we are trying to bring in innovations over there by releasing research papers and defining standards and all. But with my business company, which is Premium Parking, we are bringing the innovation across all the departments, whatever you can think into the operations by providing obviously process and technology because people are there, they're champion, they know the business, they know the industry for decades now. What companies facilitating them is giving them more tools and better processes so they are able to foster in their role and their profile and they're able to grow. That I think is an organization innovation than a process and technology innovation because now you are able to bring in something which is very different, which you would not have imagined. Yes, the major impact behind that is the technology growth coming in. But then it's like anecdotically, someone who invented refrigerator didn't make more money, but someone who used refrigeration made more money, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right? So more organizations adapting the use of technology and putting in hand of their people are going to foster and grow fast,
Yeah.
learn more. And those are the innovative things we are doing. And we are talking to great talents, trying to work with us, collaborate with us, join us. We have opened our hands to bring in great talents because now we see that how those talents can add a value to the organization.
Something you say there is really fundamentally important as well, because right now there's a worldwide talent challenge, especially when it comes to engineers of all types. And there's
Correct.
other areas of huge talent needs as well that aren't being addressed. And I know
Indeed.
through the teens into the 20s, one of the big pushes through the 2010 to 2020 range was becoming an innovative organization, permeating innovation through every function, every department, every person. But of course, that was easier said than done, and many organizations failed and just actually started moving, especially after 2020, to become more strict. But what you're
Yes.
talking about actually reverses that and starts to really promote and integrate innovation so that it's an open conversation versus a competitive landscape of how do I get ahead and survive myself. Any thoughts around that?
We believe as an organization also that everybody has the ability to innovate. It's just they haven't been given right tools and right processes how they can innovate and collaborate. So if there is a framework that can be put in place for them, they would want to love, innovate, and collaborate. And ask anybody, say, would you love to be an innovator? They would say, yes, I have this idea on my side. How can we do it? So it was a challenge. It is still a challenge. I don't think we have overcome that challenge. I think we are in the process of evolving over there. But it's always an intriguing question for us how do we facilitate and enable it? And we feel that by a little bit of education now, because everybody has tools at their hand, and there's still an education cycle missing. So don't get me wrong that everybody is not Gen AI ready. They're getting impacted, influenced. They're hearing from here and there. But as an organization, I think we have started putting that as a practice. Few people are using it, so they're seeing the impact. Once you see the impact, you got to try it. Once you try it, you want to participate. Once you participate, you want to see the impact. There's a cultural evaluation which is going to come in. And yes, if you see the board members and the owners of the company, they are putting in a lot of resources to enable it. And that's how the innovation fosters. So I believe that organizations picking up the innovations, uh, if they start doing from their side, it's always leader first. I believe it's always leader first doing it, taking the initiative, being confident with it.
So my comment would be to our audience out there, moving to an innovative organization and permeating that across the organization, it starts with you as leaders. You're the ones that have to really drive this through the organization, fostering the culture of care, being curious, and allowing your team members to be curious as well within a set of boundaries and guidelines working towards the organizational vision, mission, and goals. When I share that, does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, 100%.
Pretty fun, isn't it? We're
Yeah,
living
it
in a,
is indeed.
we're living in a very fun time of not just technology transformation, but the way we operate and work together as human beings. I think there's huge opportunity for that.
Yeah, and world is moving towards, being more prosperous. So by every technology elevation coming in into the era. So if you study the history, I love this book by Mustafa Sulaiman, The Coming Wave. He has depicted about what all technology impact has happened. Shafi Bell, in his book called Loom Shots, he has explained what technology breakthroughs come in and what kind of eras those are created. They explain that when this kind of disruptions comes in, it's very challenging to accept for sure, because nobody would have anticipated something like this. You're not prepared, right? It just takes you out of your bed saying, whoa, what is this? But then if you understand this, that's a path to prosperity and wisdom. And it brings prosperity wisdom towards your wealth creation. So now this disruption has created more abilities for every people to be more wealthy. Now, wealth doesn't need to work hard. It now says, okay, you worked hard. Here is what the tool is to now make it smart,
Yeah.
right? When you make it smart, you are now able to facilitate more wealth for you as a person, for your family as a need over there, and enjoy the life that you are getting into. So I think the natural elevation out of industrial era coming to the era of getting into the internet world, and then the smartphone world, and then the social media world, and now it's at the world of getting into the AI engine. It's a very natural elevation of enabling the people to do better. I don't think doing more is the goal, but doing better is the goal by bringing in such kind of tech. And when you do better, it eventually leads to getting you back what you have given inside. So we believe, even as an AITP, when we talk about this, even as a premium parking, when we talk about this, at home now, we also talk about this. Like my wife, my kid, they use Chat GPT every day. My daughter, she's young enough, but she would be using other Gen AI tools to create some fun pictures and fun images. And she now wants to tell a story, and she's now able to get a book in an hour, and that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pages, and that's a storytelling. So the creativity has a huge elevation added. You are thinking something and you are resource constrained. You are not a creative person, but you're a great thought leader, right? So then you get a creativity tool. You're a creative tool, but not a thought leader, then you get a thought tool, right? That can do an ideation and thinking and all with you. That means you have now the ability as a superpower on your hand. Nobody can stop you, right? Now, if you are now a superpower, how good you can work with people. That's where the innovation cycle is just going to scale, skyrockets. We see is going to be a hockey stick growth across the organization who understands this fundament.
Final takeaway for our audience. If there's one thing you could offer our audience to say you really need to consider this as part of your life and business success journey, what would that be?
Play a long-term game with long-term people. Do not get into the short-term game. Work with right people, get associated with the right people, things will just fall into place. Your ideas are always going to be unique and as good as you. So work on building yourself, connecting with good people, and that will take you to places which you would have never imagined.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you. Rignesh, thank you so much for being part of the show and sharing such inspiring thoughts and wisdoms today. I,
Thank you so much.
we very much appreciate you being part of the show. To our audience, thank you very much for being with us, and we'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest takeaways from today's show? Please share your thoughts and comments below, and stay tuned for more transformative insights right here on Elevate Your Business. Take care and keep innovating and elevating your business.